Good morning, Chicago Cubs fans. We are back with another edition of Cubs Daily. My name is Steven Ryan. The Cubs did not break our heart yesterday, but the Milwaukee Brewers continue to win. So we did lose more ground to the Milwaukee Brewers, believe it or not. But let's take a prognosis look at our schedule the next 2 weeks. We obviously know that we're going to be having a big time series against the Brewers. We're going to discuss Miguel Amaya's in return to hopefully the squad this series against the Blue Jays. I was about to call them the Raptors, full disclosure, but the Blue Jays, one of the best teams in baseball, that is who the Cubs are going to be facing. We're going to discuss the probables, and we're going to do a little bit of deep diving on Ben Brown. But before we get into all that, just want to give everyone a big shout out. Appreciate every single one of you liking the videos, commenting, sharing your thoughts. Continue to foster and grow this community here on Cubs Daily. It's absolutely a blast to see. So, again, let's talk about the schedule for the next 2 weeks. It's daunting. Season defining is a word I would like to say as well. Season defining in the sense of, if we're going to get in this division fight, we need to have a strong 2 weeks here, okay? We need to have a strong 2 weeks because it starts with 3 in Toronto. We're going to get to that series here in a moment, but then we got 3 versus Pittsburgh at home. You need to take care of business against the Pirates. They're a very underrated, not underrated, but a very woeful team. They have Paul Skeens going today, so I imagine we might be seeing Paul Skeens on Sunday, which, that could hamper plans. He's going to win the Cy Young with a losing record. Not that records mean all too much anymore in the grand scheme of things in terms of pitching, but then we have 5 games against the Milwaukee Brewers, which include a rainout from earlier this season. And then we go on the road to Los Angeles to face the Angels of Anaheim, who aren't playing the greatest baseball, but they're not playing the worst baseball either. They're playing just annoying enough baseball, if you know what I'm saying. So it's not going to be an easy road. We know the Pirates always give us fits for whatever reason. We know the Blue Jays are the best record in the American League. They're going to be looking to sustain their lead in the AL East and so on and so forth. And then I think we all know the importance of this Brewers series, right? As it sits, we're 6.5 out. We get a game back on Thursday. We could push that to 6. If they ever lose again, we could be as far as 10 back by the time we see these guys, which would just be crazy to think about. But even then, the standard to sweep the Brewers in 5 games in 4 days, that's a tall ask of any ball club playing at any level of anything. So, again, best case scenario, the Cubs take 3 of 5. We really only gain a game. That's a dream scenario for the Brewers in that sense. But it's about the Cubs maintaining wild card position at this point and hopefully continuing to just find ways to win baseball games. I understand, a lot of people are already done. They're like, the season's over. You have to take this from a long-term perspective view, in my opinion, okay? The Cubs are building towards something, okay? I understand that first half of the year was just unreal. The offense was like, oh my God, maybe we can just do this now. We haven't even made the postseason in 5 seasons, so let's hold our expectations. Let's go to the postseason. Let's see where this team lies amongst the best. And then hopefully, we need to see some improvement along those areas of weaknesses. So this next 2 weeks, I'm going to say season defining in the sense of division or wild card. So, because if you want any shot of winning the division, you need to have a strong 2 weeks here. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Because the Brewers are going to be playing well the rest of the way. Now let's discuss another potential part of that next 2 week stretch, an impact, and that's Miguel Amaya. If everything goes according to plan, which I believe it has, I haven't heard any update on it, Miguel Amaya is going to join the team this week in Toronto. I'm not sure if it's tonight, I'm not sure if it's tomorrow, but it seems like his rehab stints have been going well. He's had a few games with hits, multi-hits, etc. Miguel Amaya, batting 7th, 8th, or 9th, I don't think he batted 9th, but 7th or 8th in this lineup, was really critical to that beginning success in April when we were dropping 8, 9, 10 runs a game. We were having comebacks, etc., etc. I remember that significant game-tying home run against the Dodgers in a series earlier on this year. Miguel Amaya, believe it or not, his bat brings a lot of presence and calmness to this Cubs lineup. And I think he's developing into a really nice catcher, too. I personally would like Miguel Amaya to be the catcher of the Cubs' future, but, there's a lot of variances going on, right? I know Reese McGuire's been playing well. I know Carson Kelly has had a sensational season. Miguel Amaya is the only one that we have under control. He's the one that's going to be playing here next year. He's the one that needs to get a bulk share of the load if he is healthy. Now, obviously, we have to ease him back into it, but this is a critical 2-week stretch, like I just mentioned in the schedule, so we need to see some results here, and it might take a week or two for him to get into the swing of things, right? Major League Baseball is not easy. It's no joke. So hopefully this is kind of just all preparation for October. How can we be playing our best baseball going into October? That is the question for this Cubs team, and I think that is the part we need to focus on here, because we're not playing it now, which again, I don't want to say it's fine. You never don't want to play bad baseball, or play good baseball, but it's going to happen by proxy, so might as well happen now rather than later. Now, we do have the probables going into Toronto. I'll briefly touch on that here in a moment, but let's talk about tonight's starter, Ben Brown, okay? Obviously, Ben Brown is a starting pitcher on this team out of necessity, okay? I think we wanted him to be our 5th starter. It just has not panned out in terms of consistency. The Ben Brown experience is a wild ride. You get a few innings out of him, and it looks like, okay, this looks good. This looks really, really solid. And then the wheels fall off. And it's not necessarily all his fault. Sometimes I've seen some of his starts where the wheels fall off because the infielder missed the ball, or, just something didn't roll the defense's way, and it escalated quickly for Ben Brown. So I think we have found a sweet spot for Ben Brown. I'm not even saying it necessarily needs to be an opener, but it's that first time through the order, maybe the second time through the order. Generally speaking, it's about 2 to 3 innings max for Ben Brown. If he can give us 2 to 3 innings, I'm very happy with Ben Brown. And I think in the future, the long-term role for him is middle relief. I'm not sure if he's going to be a starter necessarily. He's just a starter more out of necessity while we wait for Tyone and Assad to get healthy. So he is going to be starting tonight. Again, if he can go in there and give us 4 innings, I'll be happy. Against that Blue Jays lineup, the way they're playing, that is a deal, in my opinion, okay? That is an absolutely fantastic deal, and I think the Cubs should be thrilled if Ben Brown can do that just for this club tonight. So I think we have found the sweet spot for him, and again, that doesn't mean he can't work on stuff in the offseason. He can't develop more and become more of a reliable starting pitcher. I just think for this team in this construct, he is more fit as a middle reliever. And if he's going to be an opener, you can't go more than 3 innings with the guy. I mean, it's just too, it's just too risky in that sense. So, speaking of other probable starters going into this series, okay? So, we have Ben Brown going tonight. We're going to have Cade Horton going tomorrow, and then Matthew Boyd going in the series finale Thursday. Now, when you say it like that, Steven, it sounds solid. Those are 2 of the pitchers the Cubs should be able to win games. It's all going to come down to our offense. It always does. Can the offense produce enough runs to keep this team in games? Lately, it's been no. Lately, it has been a no, but you never know when it's going to click or when the offense is going to roll, and hopefully it starts soon. That's all I can say, because I think this pitching staff has done more than enough, given the amount of injuries that's happened to it, given the amount of experimenting that we've done with it, right? Like, dealing with Presley as the closer and other relievers as well, just not cutting it. I think this staff has done a fine job, and enough to win baseball games. So we're going to see here. It's going to be a good test against the Blue Jays. I am excited to watch it. That is going to be tonight at 6:07 in the Roger E. Center. Either way, it's going to be fun. The Blue Jays are a really good team. The Cubs can be a really good team. They just haven't been playing that way this past few months, it feels like. But they're still middling around 500. So let's get a victory today. Let's get back on track. Let's keep focused on the wild card. Just keep winning good quality baseball the rest of the way, all right? So that's going to do it for Cubs Daily. Again, if you guys are enjoying the content, make sure you smash that thumbs up button, and I'll talk to y'all soon.